At the dawn of the 21st century, the number of fugitives wanted by the FBI soared to record levels. Federal agencies were overwhelmed with unsolved cases. Fugitives became more dangerous and unpredictable, and the top 10 most wanted were increasingly linked to terrorism. This emergence of worldwide terror networks caused unprecedented casualties abroad and at home. To deal with this crisis, Congress orders the creation of CIPHER, the Criminal Interdiction and Fugitive Recovery Task Force. Hosted by the State Department, CIPHER's primary objective is to hunt down the world's most elusive and dangerous fugitives and bring them in alive. Handpicked by the military to lead CIPHER's Alpha team, Lieutenant Jake Seaver is a veteran of counterterrorism and urban warfare.
Yeah, tough guy.
America's 10 Most Wanted, developed by Black Ops Entertainment, is an ambitious yet profoundly flawed first-person shooter that tries to marry arcade-style gameplay with a gritty, politically charged premise. Released in November 2003, just 9 months after the US invasion of Iraq commenced and 1 month before Saddam Hussein's capture, the game exploits the heightened climate of the war on terror for its narrative, offering players the chance to, unquote, capture a rogues gallery of fugitives. Despite its intriguing, if exploitative premise, the execution leaves much to be desired. Black Ops Entertainment, best known for developing 007 The World Is Not Enough for the PS1, brought its limited FPS experience to the table here. However, the leap to the PS2 generation exposed their shortcomings, especially when compared to their clear inspiration, Soldier of Fortune. Unfortunately, this is more like Soldier of Poor Fortune, failing to capture even a fraction of the polish or intensity of Raven's game. The core mechanic of the game involves tracking down and capturing fugitives through first-person shooting and occasional hand-to-hand combat, but the jarring combination of arcade-style features like extra lives, temporary invincibility, and even a roundhouse kick to Osama bin Laden undercuts any attempt at seriousness. The game also implements a points-based system which feels almost entirely pointless, offering little incentive for playability or improving performance. The gunplay is surprisingly decent, with weapons that feel responsive and capable. However, the weapon models are over-designed, resembling oversized toy guns, which detracts from the immersion. Weapon upgrades are mostly useless, further compounding the lack of meaningful progression. Enemy AI is rudimentary at best, with opponents attacking at random in repetitive patterns. This adds little to the already tedious combat. Level design fares no better, featuring linear and bland environments filled with reused assets and bit-crushed textures. Worse still, there's often no indication of where you're supposed to go, resulting in frustration as you wander aimlessly through poorly constructed maps. The story is as bare bones as it gets. As a generic soldier, you must take down the titular 10 Most Wanted. Each fugitive is introduced with dramatic flair but little substance. The game borrows heavily from real-world events, exploiting the post-9/11 anxieties of its time. Cameos and tracks from members of So Solid Crew add a peculiar pop culture layer, but it feels out of place in a game tackling such politically charged themes. Notably, the game launched with a live-action trailer that promised intensity and drama, an energy that is sadly absent in the final product. Flat voice acting ranges from unintentionally funny to downright lifeless, while the environments are bland, poorly textured, and uninspired. Regarding the fugitives featured in the game, while the game's marketing suggests ties to real-world figures, most of the characters are fictionalized caricatures of infamous figures from the era. Osama bin Laden is the obvious centerpiece, but others are loosely inspired by real-life fugitives. While America's 10 Most Wanted hints at a tongue-in-cheek approach, its execution is clumsy and tone-deaf. The inclusion of arcade elements like temporary invincibility and ridiculous melee moves suggests the developers weren't taking the concept entirely seriously, but this tongue-in-cheek attitude lacks the self-awareness or humour needed to pull it off. The result is a disjointed experience that feels tasteless rather than satirical. Compared to other budget or indie titles of the early 2000s, this effort pales in comparison. Even with its low price point, it's difficult to recommend. With atrocious level design, poor visuals and rudimentary AI, the game is a relic of its time, and not in a good way. While there's some entertainment to be found in the sheer absurdity of its premise, America's 10 Most Wanted is mostly a missed opportunity best left in obscurity.
I'm looking for Armando Rojas.
Rojas killed my brother. You can find him at the jungle ruins.
Ruins, huh?
Here's the key of the jungle gate.
Thank you. I'll see you later.